Let me save you the rest. Now, there is evidence that they imported this same fuel that they are distributing. They have enough, right, to last them for the next 1 month. They do. And there is also an evidence that what they are doing is not just that they imported fuel and moved some of it to that same Portharcourt. They are also blending it with some harmful substance or chemicals and the rest of that, like, multiplying, duplicating and all that, to resell back to the society just for this particular show off. But here is some questions that even you, as a Ronuku, watching this broadcast this evening, that you should possibly ask yourself. How much are they going to sell now that the refinery is working? Let's now take them for their words and say, okay, the refinery is working. For Dangote, or start with, they imported the fuel to Nigeria, is sold at 1,075 naira by the NNPC. Others are selling at 1,100 naira, 1,200 naira per liter. So now that you have everything locally, this is not Dangote. Okay, Dangote is importing his own crude oil. And that is why Dangote can't sell less than 970 naira that he announced just 2 days ago, because they couldn't give him crude oil, right, from Nigeria. So he's importing his crude oil, buying it from abroad. So the NNPC that announced to you that the Portharcourt refinery is now working, how come they didn't announce the price with it? Or maybe they will do that later, because they are supposed to actually now probably tell us that the crude oil is local. It's just in the backyard there in Portharcourt, in the same river state. The crude oil is there. The pipeline where the crude oil is going to be pumped from is in Nigeria. So that means the part where you have to price the barrel of crude oil, and because of the price of the barrel of crude oil, which will then determine how much you are going to sell the liter of petroleum or so, a refinery actually refined more than just PMS. It also refines diesel as well. So how much are they going to now sell this Portharcourt refined petrol? Is it going to be sold for 1,075 naira? Or it should be far, far less? It's a question that they probably haven't considered answering. Because one of the things that having your own refinery could have done or will do for Nigeria right now is that it can break the price of petroleum in the market. And that can automatically help your economy. You get? I mean, they can't tell Dangote how much to sell his own petrol. But they can tell how much they want to sell the one that is refined in Nigeria, in Nigeria's refinery. Have you thought of that, or you are still living in that euphoria? It's a direct question, right? I'm not expecting you to answer it. I'm just probably putting it out there that if the Portharcourt refinery is working as they are currently postulating, right? So that should automatically tell us how much they are selling the liter to those trucks. Because that's what would probably be the real news in all of this. Don't you think so? Don't you think? Because that should be the real news. They told you that once Dangote Refinery started working, that the price of petroleum and blah, 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 blah will come down, the Naira will be stronger, and all those things they told you. But now you've realized that they lied to you. Dangote Refinery is a private business, but this one is the public, property. So, Abi, you are just going to ignore that part. And it won't matter. It should. That is what I've been looking for since. That if they woke up last night to tell you that one of the refineries in Nigeria is now working, but that should have an impact on how much this is now sold. I know they are doing the media runs right now. I mean, throughout this week, that's what you are going to be seeing on all the media, social media, your TV, your radio, about the refinery is now working. But the question you should ask now is that, are you going to be buying at the price of the imported petrol or the Dangote price of over 1,000 Naira? You should be able to ask them, even though they won't answer you, or they will kind of make up something. NNPCL has never made profit since its sort of establishment. They've never made any profit. So they can import fuel, spending nearly $1 billion between October and November, move them to one of the moribund refineries, service the loading bay, renovated the, what do you call it? The generator plants, turn everything on, and decide to possibly crash the price and, you know, sell it to you for 500 Naira per liter. That should be one of the benefits of having your own refinery, Abi. Your own crude oil. Everything is yours. But APC, Egbekegbe don't want you to ask that. It was similar to when they are doing the Nigeria Air. Ah, yes, Nigeria is going to fly its own airline now. I remember when I used to fly the Nigeria Airways, some of these Olori Brukus, some of them are watching now. They called us enemies of Nigeria. They called me enemy of progress, simply because I'm asking the same question I'm asking right now, right? That if you are going to have a national carrier, you should at least, number one, you would have placed order for the aircraft that will service the airline. You probably would have opened a website that will tell us about you and what you are doing. There would have been some recruitment exercise, or in fact, there should be an office that will say, this is the office of Nigeria Air at social airports. We're asking those questions that time. And they said, no, we should celebrate an ordinary logo. And we should stop hating the progress of Nigeria. The person who ran that scam on them, who ran them that scam at this Sirika, stole over 70 billion Naira, running them that street. At the end of the day, those wearies that were always jumping from one platform to the other, praying as usual, may Nigeria succeed, may Nigeria Air succeed. When they finally found out that they were scammed, they disappeared. And this is the similar one too. They imported fuel to Nigeria. They decided to load them from one of their moribund refineries. And they wanted to go to town and be happy. Tifnumbu has congratulated them. It's part of Tifnumbu's reform. But if there is any reform that can really touch your lives right now, is the price that comes with this. If they are loading 200 trucks right now, the price of petroleum in in the Niger Delta area of Nigeria should have crashed in the last 24 hours. Don't you think so? That should be the case? Or una go tell us the story of they are still selling the old stock. Abi, because you always have a way that you twist all your lies, and you have all the zombies, the mumus that believes them because they want them to be true so bad. They want the lies to be true. And they have to sell off the old stock first. The price will crash later. Abi? Then a week, 2 weeks, a month. Everybody just forgets about the supposed refinery that is working. This is the question. And I'm going to leave you with that. Okay? Here is it's a man that sometimes they'll say, if growing old, if this is what growing old is, it is not. It is better not to grow old at all. Doing your quick, it was on a rise. Again, spewing the same garbage that has probably made a lot of people to be more concerned that what the hell happened to this man. Nothing happened to him. It's always been like that. Doing your quick, here.
Years of President Buhari, from whom a southern president took over just 18 months ago.
Thank you, Charles. The question you've asked is not that straightforward. The truth is that there are stakeholders in this country, and there are ways that this country has been managed since 1960, since independence. The country may not have made giant strides economically and in terms of provisions of what will suit or make the populace comfortable. But in terms of its politics, we have managed it in a way that it has kept the country together. I want to remind you that when Obasanjo became president, there was an unwritten national consensus, that a Southwestern person, somebody from the Southwest, will be president. Because if you looked at it, the two candidates for that election were Obasanjo and Olufalaye. So head and tail, Southwest wins. That was a national concession. And it was not for nothing. It was because the stakeholders felt that at that point in time, immediately following Abiola's death, who was presumed to have won an election, there was a need to assuage the Southwest. It was not a question of northern interest. You see, those who control the affairs of this nation in terms of politics before now were more interested in national interest than sectional interest. And our failure to evolve a national elite system is one of the most fundamental problems why Nigeria is stagnating, because we all pull in different directions. Now, coming specifically to your question, I see a lot of young people, young minds, brilliant minds from the North coming together, which is a good thing. The North needs its political elites to come together for whatever reasons, even if only to shoulder the responsibility of the burden of neglect of the masses for so long. But I am a Christian, I am an evangelist, and I am a witness for Christ. I am not going to stand here for any reason. I do not desire to be minister or commissioner or anything. So I have little to gain My point is just that I want the country to move forward and to succeed. And I'm not rabidly opposed to the gentleman that is there right now. The truth of the matter is that opportunities have long gone, flown out of perspectives. It is now with the pillars that are being laid down that opportunities, new opportunities are now being created. Do you want to talk about the children who could not go to school because their parents, did not have money? It will have been worse now because people cannot even feed. That means a lot more of our youth will not be able to enter university. Today, Bola Tinubu has made poverty not to be an issue or an excuse not to be educated. There's a loan fund which he promised in his agenda that he's going to do that is now operative. There are so many programs for the youth, and there are so many ways there are so many plans to finance them that is currently going on. It will take time, and I know Nigerians are paying. I know, they say T-pain, which means Tinubu pain, but the truth of the matter is that it's not Tinubu pain, it is temporary pain for permanent gain. When there's a reform that is going on, there's nowhere any reform takes place that there are no temporary pains. And, if there are no pains, there are no gains. We must all go through. I remember very well when Ikorodu Road was being constructed, my late brother, Idowu Okukwe, used to live in Okukwe Estate. He got home every day, and his children, he got home at 1:30 a.m., 2:30 a.m. They suffered. It's not just him as a family. Many people on that axis suffered. But today, we drive to the Ikorodu Road in 12 minutes, in 10 minutes, in 20 seconds. A generation paid and suffered for that construction that was done in Metropolis at that time. So, a generation will have to go through some temporary pain so that, generations coming behind and even those who are still alive can enjoy a much more permanent gain. This opposition mantra, the problem with the Bola Tinubu is this. During the election, let me just land, very briefly. During the election, we had 4 major candidates. When you have strong candidates like that, it is difficult to amass enough votes to be able to have a majority. The Bola Tinubu administration came in with about 35, 36, 37% total votes. So those who are in opposition, who have lost, who are Africans by nature, who are bad losers, are those who are fanning this ember of criticism, of not doing well, of saying that, he has abandoned us. Elections are over, Charles. Nigerians must go back and let us look at the governance. I am a Christian.
Doyin Okuigbe said that if not for Tinubu's reform, you see this $1 that is being exchanged for 1,000. Do you know that it is now 1,770 naira? Are you aware? It is Tinubu's gain, according to him. Temporary pain and Tinubu's gain. Doyin Okuigbe also put it as, I think it was the one who said, if not for Tinubu, no, hang on, no. He said if it was not for Tinubu, $1 would have become 17,000, not 1,770. He said a liter of petrol, PMS, would have become 4,000 naira per liter, if not for Tinubu. He said Tinubu's reform has saved a lot of you in that contraption, especially young people. That now poverty is no longer the excuse for you not to have education. this old man, who knows? I don't know if he does though, because like African Wala said, sometimes when you lie to yourself so much, like again and again, you begin to believe the lie as well. And I think that is the same world that the Ronukus are living in. You know, when you lie to yourself and say, well, it could have been worse. I didn't even know it was because of Tiknumbu. I thought it was because of Iroboye's prayer. Remember that one said it was his prayer that stopped Nigerian Naira from probably crashing to 10,000 Naira to $1. But he's already headed there already. 1,770. When Tiknumbu removed education subsidy, and the school, the tuition from all these various schools increased. A lot of these young people have dropped out of school right now. Then they started lying about who and who have had access to their student loan. And in that, it is recorded. Well, I don't know which one to believe. So the NEL fund, people who are sharing the money said they have shared 11 billion to 104,000 people, students. Wale Idun said they have shared over 90 billion Naira to 500,000 students. And this is how they all kind of like a juggle number. So Doyo Kuigbe, in his character, which seems to have become more like a sickness, is telling us, okay, that you, the victims of this failed roguish regime, you are just bad losers. In his own world, if not for Tiknumbu, things would have been worse for now. So yeah, you need to sacrifice, and as things stand, whatever you are facing is a sacrifice. But there is one thing too, where as much as they will tell you that things were so bad when Bokwari, no, not when Bokwari was there, before Tiknumbu, they always want to skip that part of Bokwari in a way. And the Bokwari's people themselves, they don't want to have any of that. So Doyo Kuigbe added, because it's all about, it's pretty much like going to be about 2027 too. So to somebody like him, you should be thankful, grateful that you have a Tiknumbu. No matter how much you feel right now, I don't even know how that sounds, but it has something as well for the Northerners, the people he also called the bad losers too. Please listen.
Let us assume that you bring a new person and he wins. There's no agreement he will make with you. He will not spend another 8 years. So, you just extended the lifespan of the rotation to the south by another 4 years. So why don't we, what has Bola Tinubu done? Let's come to terms with this. What has Bola Tinubu done? Bola Tinubu has come with very serious reforms, that will take the country away from the situation in which it had been undergoing for the past 8 to 10 years. I will say it here on open public television. This is the truth. This government has not been able to articulate this position, but those of us who are watching from the outside, we can see it. As of the time that the Bola Tinubu administration was coming into power, the country was finished. Was socially, economically finished. We were spending 98% of our revenue, 98 cents on every dollar was being used to, for debt servicing. We were subsidizing fuel, we were subsidizing power, we were subsidizing virtually everything. There was a major, there was very severe and serious